The Florida Telephone Company in northern Florida, an independent, had a very interesting and varied network. One of its most unique features, okay, I'll quit. One of its most unusual and rare and one of its most unique features was the Siemens motor switch offices that were employed not everywhere, but sort of spottily through the area. I first recorded these during 1978, where I made recordings in Salt Springs, the east side of Ocala in the Silver Springs area, and also Crystal River, Florida. This recording that I put in Program 2 is from May 1982, from the Silver Springs area Ocala Motor Switch Office 236. In 1982, a few things had changed, and it was kind of streamlined compared to the way it had been in 1978. But here I did an on-the-fly explanation of how to make some sense of the sounds it makes, and because they've streamlined it a bit, it's a little easier to understand.
This is May 1982. I'm here in Silver Springs, Florida, which is in the Ocala area, and the office here, 236, is of the old rotary motor switch type of switching equipment which is very, very rare in the United States. This particular motel's PBX does not do a lot to mess up the sound of the switching office. When you dial 9, you seem to really be connected. It accomplishes toll restriction in a very, very intelligent way and doesn't mess up the sound of local calls going through. So once I dial 9, it sounds pretty much like a home phone would sound. In any event, a few things have changed since 1978. For one thing, this office now has new dial tone, where it used to have old dial tone. But it seems to still be the same real thing that you get. It just has new dial tone. Well, now what I want to do is to make sense out of what you hear when you're dialing from 904-236. Now, first of all, I'm calling from a motel. I dial 9 to get an outside line, of course. Now, when you're calling from a normal line, or a coin line for that matter, and you pick up to get a dial tone, your battery gets cut from the time you pick up to the time it gets you a dial tone. It's like pick up, cut, dial tone. So the instant my dialing 9 on the PBX is completed, that will correspond to picking up a normal line. Whenever you're making calls on this system, there is an ever-present register sender, stores and sends, even when there's no need to outpulse to another office. In fact, the sender goes between me and whatever interprets the initial code that I dial. For instance, the code 730 is a 3-digit vacant code. It waits till the O to know that it's a vacant code. And let me dial that now. Okay, now here's the 7. Notice after I dial the 7, the sender will dial the 7 also. There you go. Now the 3. Again, the sender will dial it. And the O. After the sender dials the O, the switching system will connect me to vacant code.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 904-236. We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 904-236. We're sorry. Now, vacant code is the only thing I've ever seen this switching system connect me to that it didn't have to hunt a while to find. It connected me to that vacant code recording immediately after it got the 0 from the sender. For everything else, it has to hunt. For instance, the test code 81 goes to some sort of line which gives you a dial tone. Now, I assume this line is either a test line or it's some sort of privileged dialing thing for the phone company to use. In any event, we automatically get disconnected after a few seconds, but you do get to hear it go through. Okay, I've got my outside line. I'll dial 8, and then you'll hear the sender dial 8. And and I'll dial 1, the sender will dial 1. Then you'll hear the hunting sound and we'll be connected. That was the PBX busy signal that came on when we got disconnected from that. So the hunting sound is the type sound it made. Let me do it one more time. I'll dial 81 and we'll get the dial tone again. Well, let me demonstrate what happens when I try to dial something on that dial tone. There was crosstalk on that reorder. Somebody else reached it somehow. Now let me dial 81 quickly and you'll hear the sender dial 2 digits after I'm through dialing, and then the call will go through. Alright, now an interoffice call. 351 has to go on a 7-digit trunk to the 351 office. That 351 office is also used as a tandem, by the way. And that's why all 7 digits of the 351 number have to be dialed into the trunk. And now I'll demonstrate how that works. Okay, I'm going to dial a 3, and the sender will dial a 3. Now I'm going to dial the 5, and when I do, the sender will dial my 5. Then the trunk will be selected. You'll hear the hunt noise. Then the sender is going to dial 35. There. So first it dialed my 5, then it selected the trunk, then it dialed 35. Now I'll dial 1. It dialed it, dial 8. It dialed it again, then 3 more digits.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-351.
Special operator, what number did you dial?
Never mind, I'll just try it again.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's how it's handled. It's a 7-digit trunk. I dialed 35, then we got the trunk. Then the sender had to dial the 35 into the trunk so that the office I'm calling would have all 7 digits. Now the 236 switching equipment, that is the office I'm calling from, Silver Spring, the switching equipment here doesn't care about anything except the 35. All it knows is 35 goes to that trunk to the Ocala tandem. The Ocala tandem, however, has to have all 7 digits. So it's up to the sender to provide the 35 to the switching equipment here so it'll know what trunk, and then provide all 7 digits to the Ocala tandem. What if I were to dial quickly? We've seen that when the switching equipment sees the 35, it connects you to the tandem. But what if I go ahead and dial 351 before it's even got a chance to connect me to the tandem? Well, it doesn't want to see that 1. There's no need for that. So the sender has got to be smart enough to dial just the 35 into Silver Spring, wait for the connection to be made. That's where you hear the and the loud click. Then, after that, it's got to dial the 351. So I'm going to quickly dial 351, and you'll hear the sender dialing 35,
connection gets made, then dialing 351. There you have it. You didn't get to hear the beginning of the 3 because I was dialing at the time. But after I was through dialing, you still heard the 5, then the connection, then 351. And now 351 has timed out. Sender's still on the line, though. You just dial a lot of zeros. Keeps up with me pretty well. Yeah, it keeps up pretty well. Let me dial a bunch of 3s. Thing never seems to go away.
I sat there and I dialed ones continuously. I just dialed 1, for maybe about 100 ones. And that machine would store up every single one that I dialed, and they would just sit there one at a time, playing them all back again. You can dial a number, wait till it goes all the way through, and have a busy signal or a ring, let's say, or sit there with a recording. Then you can start dialing digits again, and it'll store up quite a few. Now, there is a limit, but it's a pretty high number, and the machine will sit there repeating them all back again, even though you've already dialed your entire number.
There is a valid 11X code here. They don't have 113 and 114, but they do have 119 for ringback. And that means that 1 cannot automatically connect you to the toll equipment because you've got 119. Now, in a step office, it's a real nuisance handling things like that. You have to have a thing called a double header, which picks up 2 separate connections, one to the test selector and one to your toll trunk, and then depending on what the person ends up dialing, you drop the one you're not going to use. Here, that isn't necessary, of course. The system is a bit smarter than that. If I'm dialing anything beginning with 12 through 19, then I'm dialing 1 plus an area code or 1 plus a 7-digit number. If I dial 10, that's just a vacant code anyway. If I dial 11, you got to look for another digit. And then if it's 9, connect to the ringback circuit. Now, here's the way it sounds when you just dial 119. I won't demonstrate the use of the ringback circuit, but I will demonstrate just picking it up. Okay, I dialed 119, and after the sender dialed my 9 into the switching equipment connected me. I'm now connected to ringback. Now, if I'm dialing a 1 plus 212, things are a little different. Let's just consider the code 12. The switching equipment knows that the codes 12 through 19 go to the toll machine. So, when you dial 12, the sender dials 12 into the switching equipment, and the switching equipment connects you to the toll machine. But now the toll machine has missed the 2, the first digit of the area code you're calling. So the sender has then got to dial that 2 onto the toll trunk. So what I'm going to do is pick up and dial 12. The sender will dial 12 into the switching equipment, wait for the connection to the toll trunk, then dial the 2. Okay, let me do that one more time. I'm going to dial 12. The sender dials 12 into the switching equipment. The switching equipment gives me the toll trunk. Then the sender dials 2. And now I can complete dialing a number.
May I have your room number, please?
Either room number or the extension number.
Room number.
114.
Thank you.
All right, this time I'm going to dial 1212 so quickly that the connection will not have been made. That is, the connection to the toll trunk will not have been made by the time I've dialed 1212. That will require the sender to dial 12 to the switching equipment, allow the switching equipment to make the connection, then dial the 212 out onto the trunk. Now, of course, the dialing of 12 to the switching equipment will be mostly being done while I'm dialing, so you won't hear that. But after the connection is made, you will hear the sender dialing 212. There you have it, 3 digits. I dialed 121 after that, and it didn't like it.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 90412.
Now here's 489. Has to go through the 351 tandem. 351 office, which is a tandem, needs all 7 digits, the entire 489 number. Switching equipment here just needs the 48. So after I've dialed 48, the sender will of course be repeating my digits to the local switching equipment. Then after the connection is made, it will have to again dial the 48 out for the benefit of the tandem. Okay, I dialed 4, it dialed 4 into the switching equipment, now the 8. Okay, it dialed my 8, connection was made, now it's dialed 48 out, now the rest of the number. As you can see, the tandem is one of those new types that lets you hear the receive side while it's outpulsing on the transmit side, which can be very pleasant. So that's basically how outgoing calls work. Okay, now 685. 685 is a motor switch office. I know this because I was there, and I would have recorded from there, but that town gives me the creeps. It's Salt Springs, Florida. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And I've never seen a place that has more, let's put it this way, the entire population seems to be very, very suspicious of outsiders. You almost get the feeling that if they could, they'd block all the roads off so nobody could come through. I mean, that's what it's like over there. So you definitely don't want to be doing something like recording from payphones, something that they don't understand. They don't even want you in that town, never mind doing something weird. Anyway, here's what it sounds like to call there from here.
When we dialed 68, we heard a single register sender dialing 68 into the switching part of the office. the hunt noise connecting us to the tandem trunk, and then the register sender dialed 68 again, this time for the benefit of the tandem, which in 1982 is a DMS, an all-digital office. The last 5 digits were simply repeated by that one register sender into the tandem. After the last digit, you can hear a noise that DMSs make sometimes when they are dial pulsing out. And then the trunk came on. A little bit of crosstalk from another motor switch, making the hunt noise there. And overall, that was pretty simple and easy.
When I was here a few years ago, it was a lot more complicated. This system has the ability to not necessarily dial the same thing you dialed. For instance, when I dialed 35 of 351, it dialed 35. But back in the old days, there used to be different codes for things. For instance, if I were to dial 685, for instance, which goes through the tandem, and now it just ends up dialing the same thing I dialed, 685, used to be that it would know to dial some other code into the tandem to get the 685 trunks, some code like 1718. It was some 1 or 2 digit code that had nothing to do with what I was dialing.
Actually, that code was 19, and back in 1978, as I did record, calling 685 Salt Springs from here would result in the switching equipment connecting you to the Ocala step tandem and actually dialing the code 19 and then the last 4 digits of the phone number. What it does now is connect you to the DMS tandem and dial all 7 digits. But here's a 1978 recording. You won't hear much as I dial the number quickly, and that's because there's a coin register sender, actually an additional register sender that's on the line because I'm calling from a coin phone. If you dial a number real fast, that thing just cuts out the sound until you're through dialing. It finally cuts back and lets you hear, just in time for you to hear the switching equipment establishing the connection to the step tandem, that's the hunting noise, and then you'll hear it quickly dialing 191111. There's a loud click at the end of each of the digits. Oh, and this office had different dial tone in those days.
Service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you are calling, 904-685. You have reached a number that is...
One of those ones didn't end up getting dialed out, but that's okay, because it goes to the recording, I think, with just the first one. One more call to 685, this time in 1982. I'm dialing all 7 digits quickly. The local register sender will be dialing 68, then there's the hunting, then it dials all 7 digits into the tandem. But a lot of that happens while I'm still dialing, so you only hear the last few digits being dialed into the tandem, and the call completes.
sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-685.
Special operator, what number are you dialing? Special operator, what number are you dialing?
685-2211.
685-2211 is vacant. No one has the phone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't know what that was.
I still don't know what that was. But did you hear how the call to the operator went through? The intercept now calls the operator at the end of the recording, and it actually makes a phone call. You can hear the motor switch putting the call through.
Please check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-685.
Special operator, what number are you dialing?
There was also a lot of motor switch hunt crosstalk on that connection. Only that first one that we heard was associated with that call to the operator going through. The rest of them were just other phone calls leaking into the connection. All right, now it's time for some intra-office calls from 236 to 236. Let me mention here that in 1978, I noticed that calling within 236, I never heard a hunting sound while dialing the last 4 digits. While calling to another motor switch office like Salt Springs, I did. This actually makes some sense, because within the same building, if they want the register sender to stop, there are DC signals that can be easily passed through. If you're going over a trunk that really only has supervisory signaling, and you haven't set up a protocol for revertive pulsing, which apparently they have not, then there's no way for the terminating office to tell the originating office's register sender to pause. Therefore, there has to be another register sender on the incoming side. I think that when we call within 236, they actually save a register sender, just because the incoming side is able to tell the originating side to hold up a second. I also recall that if I called 236 numbers via the callback circuit 119, I did hear the hunting sound during the last 4 digits. So by putting the 119 in the middle of the call, it separated the connection between the originating and the terminating and made 236 sound more like I was calling into another office. Unfortunately, that's not on these tapes. But here are some intra-office calls.
Thank you for calling Florida Silver Springs. For your driving information, we are located 1 mile east of Ocala on State Route 40.
I've never been able to make any sense of the sounds I hear calling from 236 to 236.
I dialed 2, it dialed 2. I dialed 3, it dialed 3.
Now I'm going to dial 6, it's going to dial 6, and then we're going to get connected to the 236 incoming trunk. We're now sitting on the 236 incoming trunk. Let me dial the last 4 digits. Here's another 236 call.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-236. We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 904-236. We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 904-236. We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Now, just a second here. This needs to be... Let's just run this by again.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error...
Oh, no, I haven't reached this recording in error. It's the one that's coming up in just a minute.
Please check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-236.
So we'll stay on the line, but we're going to get more than an operator. Notice what happens after these clicks here. You can hear noises like a telephone instrument or headset is being moved around. You did hear that hunting sound. That's a motor switch making a phone call. Breathing. Now we're hearing breathing. Okay, somebody said something and quite noticeably hung up a phone.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 904-236.
That was someone else hanging up. The background noise just got louder. And here, that's someone coming into the line again.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed.
And hanging up. Okay, now there are actually two things going on here. The first is that we did get a double connection as the equipment was trying to connect us to the intercept operator. The double connection is probably the reason why the call failed and went to the recording. So you could hear a telephone being jostled around there, and then later on you hear the breathing. Somebody's on the line already.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be...
But once we get connected to that recording, there are many other people on the line, and that's because the recording itself is talkable. Without any equipment malfunction, that recording allows you to hear other callers coming in. The thing could be used as a conference for kids to shout out phone numbers and even converse, if anybody knew. So those two things happened on the call. First, we had a failure due to a double connection, and then we got into a recording that's a big conference anyway. Here's an intercept call going through properly.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-236.
What number did you dial, please? Special operator, what number did you dial?
236-2899.
Shows to be a vacant line.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just dialed 236, and now I'm going to wait to see how long it takes for the register sender, or register senders, to time out. Having had experience with many different types of telephone switches, I've come to know that register senders are what's called common control equipment. That is, being fairly sophisticated and expensive, they are only kept on the call long enough to set it up, then they drop out and are made available to set up other calls. If you do something like this, that is, threatening to tie one up indefinitely, there's always a timeout. Some motor switch hunting and connecting crosstalk there. But anyway, I'm fully expecting a loud reorder to come on the line. But it's not happening.
Okay, I've dialed 236 so far. Looks like no timeout. Now 1.
You know, Gotham Tandem would never put up with this kind of treatment. Then again, it wouldn't put up with dial pulse incoming, but you get my point. Seems like on the incoming switching train, you don't have to keep dialing. In fact...
You can about all day.
And here's the rest of the phone number.
Thank you for calling Florida Silver Springs. For your driving information...
In 1978, I observed that the dial tone could go on for over a minute, and then you could still dial a call.
We've seen that the dial tone does not time out, and that you can listen to dial tone for a minute and still dial and have it go through.
But when it came to trying the,
About all day.
right, the fuck about all day test, I tried it toward the beginning of the phone number.
I'm going to try dialing the first 2 digits of an exchange, which the equipment usually sets the route up after 3 digits on, and just wait to see what happens.
This switch is so strange to me because at certain times it's like a step, and then at other times it's like a very alive common control type switch.
I'm sorry, we're unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording. 904-236. I'm sorry, we're unable to complete your call as dialed.
So you see, I got the other impression back in 1978. In this case, if you want to hold the line up a long time, you have to go ahead and dial the entire office code you're calling.
You can then about all day.
Oh, okay, that's...
Is that 236?
Yes, it is.
Oh, right, yeah. I was getting mixed up over that.
Hey, me too.
By the way, the only working 11X code is 119, and I suppose that's used for ringback. It's just that it works very strangely. I dial 119, and then I hear the office make the connection into something, and then I dial any 3 digits plus the last 4 digits of a 236 number, and the call goes through to the 236 number. Here's 119-555-1212, which will cause us to reach 236-1212.
Thank you for calling Florida Silver Springs. For your driving information, we are located 1 mile east of Ocala on State Route 40.
Now hopefully I'll be able to find out what happens if you dial 119 plus some 236 number and that number is busy. Now let me try 1 plus a local number.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. 90412.
That was 1 plus 236. Now how about O plus 236?
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Let's try 011.
We're sorry.
All right, 01 plus a number. Guess not. The way it restricts me from directory assistance is amazing. I don't know how it does it. I believe that last sound is to alert you to the fact that the phone is off the hook. Notice that I can dial O plus a number.
What special service?
Collect call from Evan.
From who?
Evan.
Evans?
Good enough.
Thank you. Is that Mr. Evans?
No, just Evan.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, it's busy.
Quite all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I can dial O plus an area code a number, but just O. Here's what happens. Pretty good toll restriction. By the way, whatever system handles the TSPS function here lets you hear the receive path while it's out pulsing on the transmit path. Now, if I can get the operator to take my room number and go quick enough, you will get to hear what I mean. Something that's in a two-wire tandem that'll give us nice bounce back of the MFs. What's a two-wire tandem that this thing's going to have trunks to? Fort Myers. I bet this will have Fort Myers. Let me try it.
Your room number.
114.
Thank you.
Well, it didn't have Fort Myers, but we got to hear the outpulsing anyway. Trying to think of something closer to home that is definitely two-wire.
Your room number, please.
114.
Thank you. Slide, what state of place?
Winter Park.
Yes, may I help you?
What's the main number for the post office there?
Thank you. The number is 647-3621.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It sent 10 digits to 305-555. It's not going to have trunks to anything.
Your room number.
114.
Thank you. Have your room number?
114.
Thank you. What city, please?
Chipley.
May I help you?
What's the main number for the post office there?
Thank you. The number is 638-0101.
Okay, and for Lake City?
All right.
You have the main number for the post office there?
Number 752-3373.
Thank you.
Welcome.
There's something that I've just got to demonstrate about coin phones. First of all, when you're calling from a coin phone, there's an extra pulse repeater on the line that you don't even get to hear pulsing. It just cuts out and comes back, and usually comes back late. It really messes up the sound of things, but that's not what I want to demonstrate anyway. First, here's what happens if I dial 236-1212 without a coin. Got as far as 2361 and got a reorder. Now here's 119 plus 111 plus 1212.
calling Florida Silver Springs. For your driving information, we are located 1 mile east of Ocala on State Route 40.
Really?
We open at 9 a.m. and close the park at 5:30 p.m.
Oh, well, that's quite
Ticket
reasonable.
booths will close approximately 1.5 hours prior to the park closing. We
You know, I have yet to see 119 work properly as ringback. It may, in fact, but from a coin phone it does not. You get a busy signal and then it never rings. And of course from the motel phone I couldn't try that anyway. It wouldn't have worked. So far all I've seen 119 do is absorb the first 3 digits and then connect you to 236, into which you can dial the last 4 digits, and from coin there's no coin check.
I never saw 119 actually work to ring the phone because the coin phone has a coin return at the end of the call, and that blocks the incoming call. The other place I got to try it was the motel, and obviously you're not going to get off that line or even know that it rang in time to see anything happen, but it was very useful in the way that you saw. Next, in Program 3, are my recordings made from a coin phone in March 1978 from this very same motor switch office when it had old dial tone and an old routing pattern. By the way, Program 3 and Program 1 that you heard before cannot be as loud as the others, and the reason is that the recordings were made from a Superscope broadcast quality cassette tape recorder whose automatic volume control tended to drop down when it heard a loud click, and these recordings are full of loud clicks. It's a very high quality machine, actually higher quality than the Panasonic, but because of the automatic volume control characteristics, everything is pretty low. The good news is, though, that you get a truer dynamic on the network, whereas the Panasonic tends to smush everything so that it's all compressed and you can't hear the real differences in volume. So there are pluses and minuses to each. Well, anyway, that's a subject for another program. Program 3 is next. Turn up the volume.